Shalom. Before I begin this video, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that continue to rule very well to this very day. Let us continually feed and fly through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. And also Shalom to the hopeful elect that is also laboring this work. Let's give your due diligence to make your calling and election sure in faith, in truth and sincerity, and also in all charity. Now, the topic of this video is going to be entitled Gehenna, Hinnom, and Hades. Okay, which this is more of an in-depth look at the doctrine which is pushed by your modern day Christians. Which is this is something that is being taught in modern day Christianity. Concerning a place underneath the earth which is called hell. Okay, now concerning that topic or the doctrine which is pushed by modern day Christianity, that has its origins going back past the Greeks, which is leads you to an actual place in Jerusalem or around Jerusalem that was known as the Valley of Hinnom. Okay, in which I have some information that I want to get here in just a little bit concerning that, because if you go into modern day Christianity, really it stems back to the time to when the Roman Empire or the pagan Roman Empire was taken down, and then that ushered in an age or an era which was called the Holy Roman Empire, which we all know it wasn't so holy. And the reason why it wasn't so holy is because you had pagan origins that were mixed in with the Bible, was mixed in with the scriptures, and pushed forth an idea of what you see today. Okay, concerning the belief that there's an actual place of burning that you go to and be tormented forever, and also the days of worship and other things as well, man. Okay, that was mingled in within the scriptures. Okay, and it was during the time when really it was heavy when when Constantine the Great was in rulership during that time. Okay, which he spearheaded what you see today. Okay, he spearheaded the councils that were set up during that time, and which led into what these people worship today. And this is what people fail to understand, because really they don't go and do any sort of studying or any sort of in-depth look into the things of the why, the reason why these things are being pushed in the church. All right, they just take it for face value. Okay, because these people, man, they're just made to be led. Okay, they have no sense of accountability, for lack of a better term, or any sort of how should I put it? They don't have any sort of analytical skills when it comes to what they worship or what they get into. Okay, they just take everything for face value. They eat up whatever is given unto them, and they just take it as dogma. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump into a couple of precepts here. I'm gonna get the information that I have here. I'm gonna try to get through this as quickly as possible, because I'm on break right now, so only have limited time to do this. Slack you. I meant to get 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15. All right, 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15. It says, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Okay, so it says here, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High. And that's what we are to do, is we are to study, all right, to show ourselves approved to the Most High. All right, and another word for approved is elected. Okay, to the Most High, which a workman that needed not to be ashamed, and rightly dividing the word of truth. And when you rightly divide the word of truth, and we the apostle Elder Gabar has touched on that in one of his videos in the past concerning the word dividing. Okay, so when the scriptures say dividing the word of truth, it's talking about teaching the word of the Most High directly and correctly. Okay, that's what it means by rightly dividing the word of truth. All right, because this is what we're involved in. We're involved in truth. Okay, and this is the truth that we're bringing out, and I'm gonna bring it out here in just a minute. Okay, but let me go to the book of 1 Corinthians. Here it is. It's like 2 Corinthians. Let me go back. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. It says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahushua, in which that's the true name of the Son of the Heavenly Father, in which these people ignorantly call Jesus, all right, or Christ, or what have you. Okay, so this is what we're involved in. We are to cast down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself. And this doctrine of Christianity that's been pushed throughout the entire world is something that is high, all right? And that exalted itself, and is also exalting itself against the knowledge of the Most High, the true knowledge of the Most High, okay? Because when you read throughout the scriptures, it's completely contrary to what your modern day ham sandwich eating pastor tells you, okay? And what your modern day Christians tell you, okay? Because apparently spreading the love of the Lord is by lying to him, okay? That's their definition of love, man. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump to the information I have here. Let's see if I can get it real quick. But I did have it. Let me go back. Let's see. Let's get Gehenna first, because I thought I had that on deck, but I didn't. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Here it is. This is the first article I had here I want to grab. So this is the history of hell, right? So Gehenna and beyond. All right, I'm gonna touch on it briefly. I'm not gonna go through all of it. I'm gonna go down to the bottom. So further down, I think it's the second paragraph from the looks of it. Yep. Second paragraph, it says, alas, hell is real. Yes, that's right. Or at least it's based off a real place. An ancient landfill, to be exact. Although there is no mention of hell in the Bible, it is based on an actual place. In Jerusalem, in the valley of Hinnom, there is a large trash dump referred to in the book of Matthew as Gehenna. All right, which Gehenna is the Greek word for Hinnom. All right. So it actually shows you Gehenna from the rooftop, from the hilltop of Jerusalem. All right. It was originally used by the Israelites who sacrificed children and burnt their bodies to appease the pagan Canaanite god Molech. In Leviticus 18:20, the Most High expresses hatred of the false god Molech and deemed the place unclean. Gehenna was originally used as a landfill by the inhabitants of Jerusalem, where people took their trash to be burnt. The place began to wreak havoc on daily life in Jerusalem. The smell of burning sewage, flesh, maggots, and garbage wreaked absolute havoc on the inhabitants of Jerusalem, causing documented medical problems like nausea and breathing difficulty. Clearly, the place was unpleasant, frightening even, and thus it's no surprise that Gehenna was used and still is today as a metaphor for the final place of punishment for the wicked. It was first used as a symbolic depiction of hell in Mark chapter 9, verse 47. All right. Gehenna was translated to hell later around 1200 AD. Okay, so there it is. That's the information. All right. And that's actually true, because if you go to the book of Mark chapter 9, let's see here. Mark chapter 9, verse, let's see, what was that? That was 47. Right, so Mark chapter 9, verse 47, go ahead and read it, and I'm going to get the word hell. So it says, and if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out. It is better for thee to enter into the kingdom of the Most High with one eye than having two eyes to be cast into hellfire. Right? So let's get the word hell real quick. I mean, I'm just pressing all the wrong buttons today. So this word for hell, right? And that the word there's Gehenna. See that? It says hell is a place of the future punishment called Gehenna, or Gehenna of fire. This was originally the valley of Hinnom, south of Jerusalem, where the filth and dead animals of the city were cast out and burned, a fit symbol of the wicked and their future destruction. And that's why when Yahushua was speaking, and this is one of the reasons why Israelites during that time were getting offended, because to be told that you were going to be cast into hell was the equivalent of being called trash dumped into a landfill. Okay? So whenever you were to say that back in the ancient world, they are, the people during that time were ready to kill you. Okay? Because that's what they were referring to. They were referring to the valley of Hinnom, where trash was being burnt. All right? And also as well, going back to Gehenna, which is known as the Valley of Hinnom, that was also a place where they would do sacrifices unto Molech, okay, by fire. Okay, so I believe it has the Hebrew word. Yeah, I think this is it, Hinnom. Yeah, they actually have the word here, but it goes into the definition, which means lamentation. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to the information here. Let's see. Yes, I'm going to go further down in etymology, right? Actually, it's like I'm going to read a little bit of this first paragraph and go to the second one. I'll touch on it briefly. It says, there is no mention of hell in the actual New Testament, but there is in much later translations. So let's dig into the etymology a bit. The modern English word hell is derivative of an English word hell or heel, first documented around 724 AD to refer to the netherworld of the dead from the Anglo-Saxon pagan period. Okay. So to skip further down, right, it says pagans were ironically executed at the same time the mythology was being plagiarized by their very executioners. And who were the executioners during that time? The ones that were calling themselves Christians. All right. Again, that is, if I'm not mistaken, I may have my timelines mixed, but I believe this was around the time when they were converting into the Holy Roman Empire, all right, or after the Holy Roman Empire. That was during the time when paganism was actually being migrated or mingled in within the true doctrine, okay? So that same mythological idea that they were adopting during that time, they were killing the same people that were pushing it, okay? And there's more information on this. Like I said, I'm not going to, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go too much into it. But if you want to go into it, this is from the medium.com, the history of hell, Gehenna, and beyond, right? And it goes all into it, like the word Sha'al, which actually the Hebrew word for hell in the Old Testament is Sha'al, which means the grave. Okay, like it says right here in this paragraph. Okay. Actually, I'm going to read a little bit here for the sake of edification. It says, the Old Testament, stepping back further into time, examining the Old Testament, the foundational text of Abrahamic beliefs, there is a Hebrew word, Sha'al, right? That's how you really say it in the Hebrew, which means the place of the dead or the grave. Sha'al is a neutral term and has no connotations of punishment. It's simply the place where we go to when our bodies stop working, all right? That's when we die, okay? The grave, okay? In the Old Testament, the word is found in the Bible 65 times. There's no concept of the resurrection of Yahushua at that time. However, like hell, this concept emerges later on after the Babylonian exile. Okay, so, and it goes further into the Babylonian exile. Okay, yep, and it goes all into it, the origins and how that influence what you see today. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump from there. That's all I want, information. Like I said, you can check it out for yourself. Read some more on it. But I'm going to get the book of Jeremiah chapter 32. It's like here, which lines up with what I just brought out, because Actually, that's where they went to make sacrifices unto Molech through fire, which is indicative to today, man. You have a conglomerate of Edomites, which the Edomites are the true biblical nationality of the so-called white man that actually still practice this to this day. Okay, so this 32 verse 35. It says, and they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire unto Molech, which I commanded them not. Neither came it into my mind that they should do this abomination to cause Judah to sin. So it was actual place of burning there, that this made their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire unto Molech. They were sacrificing their children, their sons and daughters, unto unto Molech. Okay, so that's why you get the concept of hell of eternal burning or eternal fire. Okay, because that place was used for burning and for fire, and it be used to fire initially to burn garbage, but then through the heathens are being taken into captivity unto the heathens. Then that's where they started worshiping Baal and also making sacrifices unto Molech. Okay. So moving on from there, I'm gonna get the next scripture. This book of actually, I'm gonna skip some of these precepts, for the sake of time. I'm running out of time. It's the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. It says, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Now, this is going into Esau, all right? And the reason why I'm bringing this out is because there's another scripture in the book of Revelations where it says, well, the place which these people call as hell, being a place of eternal fire, being cast into the lake of fire. All right. Now, I'm gonna read this again. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. It says, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell and as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto himself all nations and heap unto him all people. All right. So basically him desiring his desire as hell and is as death. Now, that's the point in this precept, okay? So it says he enlarges his desire as hell and is as death, okay? And it's talking about Esau or Edom, okay? Now, let me grab Revelations, right? Revelation chapter 20, verse 4, okay? Let's see. It might have to be right. Actually, let me go ahead and get the word, or the words, do a word search on it and get it. Yep. So it's Revelation chapter 20, verse 14. Yep. And this is actually, I'm starting at verse 13. It says, and the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Okay. So if you read in the article, I didn't get it, or I didn't, read it, but it speaks of how Gehenna, or the valley of Hinnom, was used to reference as the second death. All right. But really, when you go into the scriptures, the second death, and Revelation is talking about this place being destroyed by fire, and that's going to come by way of ICBM thermonuclear missiles. Okay. And that's the prophecy which is to come to pass here on the soils of America. Okay. But the point in this precept is to explain, how can you cast hell into hell? You can't cast hell into hell. You can't cast a lake of fire into a lake of fire. Okay, so somebody who represents death and hell is going to be cast into the lake of fire, right? In which that lake of fire represents what John the Revelator was seeing on the island of Patmos when he saw America being destroyed. He was seeing an actual lake of fire, because that's what America is going to look like when it's seen from a view in the outer atmosphere. Okay, because America is going to be completely burnt. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and end off on that note. Again, like I said, the information is there. You want to look deeper into it. Lord's will is edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. Till next time, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yoshai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well to this day, and Shalom. Peace and safety and salutations to the hopeful elect. Let's continue to labor in His work. Give me your diligence to make your calling and election sure in faith and truth and sincerity and all charity. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom.